everybody. It is a Wednesday. In fact, it is Wednesday, January 7th. The 7th of January already, 2026. Yay. Welcome in. I know, right? Welcome into Supernatural News and Parashare here on the best in paranormal podcasting. It is Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. As you can faintly hear in the background, I have my co-hostess today, ladies and gentlemen. She is our sister of the supernatural. She is the queen of our paranormal. She's the one, the only Mallie Fox. Hi, Mallie.
Hello, hello.
Hello. It's so good to have you back, my friend.
Thank you.
We had a little bit of a testosterone rush last week.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. We almost got condemned by the Board of Health, I think. But we survived. We had a good, we had an excellent week last week. It was a nice little change, but we're so happy to have you back.
Oh, I'm very happy to be back. Thank you.
We're happy to have you. We got a whole bunch of stories this week, a whole bunch of stories this week, and we're heavy in the interstellar news this week. We're also heavy in some unusual stuff, and we're also going to wrap up a couple of top 10 lists for 2025. We're going to get into some conspiracy top 10 stories for 2025 and some weird news top 10 stories for 2025. We also have a story about another one of these stories about someone dead who woke up alive at their funeral.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Yeah, but
you think by now that wouldn't be happening?
For some reason, I don't know. There's these funeral directors out there that aren't quite right, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they use the silver hammer on me when I'm gone, I guess, just to make sure. I hope. And our palate cleanser today is a little bit of a not safe for work. So when I yell palate cleanser or pellet cleanser, one or the other, I expect you to put earmuffs on the kids.
Okay, gotcha.
Just to forewarn you. And I'll just put it this way. If you're squeamish about eels, yeah, there's that too. So you've been forewarned. And we do have one Parashare today. Actually, thank you, by the way, Mallie, for submitting your predictions for 2026.
You're welcome. I'm like, I didn't do a Parashare.
No.
I was like, what?
This ties into the Parashare, though. For submitting your predictions, we had a listener who submitted his predictions.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So we will give our listeners predictions for 2026. So
love it.
Yeah. So if I'll do this, I will put a moratorium on predictions. If you have your predictions for the year and you're a listener or a viewer on YouTube, send them into tim@darknessradio.com. I will put the cutoff at the end of January, so you can't make any more predictions after January. Mm-hmm. So I'll do that. If you do have your, I'll make it a little fun here. We'll see how psychic our audience is. Notice I didn't say psycho, but psychic.
Right. I'm glad you got the ick instead of the O.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That sounds kind of funny.
It does. The ick instead of the O.
Ick instead of the O.
Right.
It sounds like some of my past dates.
I'm anxious to find. Speaking of, I'm anxious to find out what people thought of the John Hinckley Jr. interview yesterday.
Oh,
I had a lot of fun with it.
Good.
I did. Yeah, I found it very interesting. Yeah.
That's just one dark. I don't know. Just because you and I talked about it before, and I asked you if you had like a dark, like aura. It's like an energy, and you said, yeah,
a little bit, a little bit. But he was also, I think, a little medicated too. I do think he was a little medicated. But I'll put it this way: he's also a man, I think, who's had a rough life. He's had a very rough life, and I think when you haven't had a lot of interpersonal communication, you're not exactly the most smooth person in the world to talk to people. So communication's a little rough, and it can be a little awkward. So unless you're a people person, it's hard to pull things out of. But once we got going, once we got that interpersonal communication, that bond between us, that it was a little bit hard to form, but once we got it formed, I thought it flowed a little bit. So yeah, I like that challenge, though. I like that challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, was he the one that had the obsession with Jodie Foster, or was that somebody else?
Yep. Yes, he did. He doesn't anymore.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's grateful.
Oh, well, I hope so. But yeah, and believe it or not, it took, I don't want to cast aspersions here, but I think it's this. You know how when you're young, you kind of have that schoolgirl or school guy crush on a Hollywood star, and then you have your first real relationship?
Yes.
I think, honestly, it was that combined with a bit of a bit of mental illness.
Okay.
With John Hinckley Jr., but it just went too far.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's exactly what it was.
Okay.
And unfortunately that's what happened with John Hinckley Jr. and now he's past that, right? And anyone can get caught up in that. It was just that with John, he had no one in his life to push him to somewhere else, right? To push him to a healthy place before it got to the point where it spiraled out of control. And now he's gotten help. He's been to the correct, and thank God he got to the correct help through the court system, because if he hadn't, he would have ended up on death row. So, yeah, it was an instance of the court system getting it right, and getting him the help he deserved. So some people may disagree with me. There's some people out there I know that think that he should have gotten something else for the eventual death of Jim Brady.
Yeah, I always felt bad for him.
Yeah, but it played out the way it played out. So
right.
All right, with that, let's jump into interstellar news, shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
Our first story. Again, folks, it's just a comet.
Oh boy, no, not this again. Good God.
I hate to say it, my friend, but scientists are publishing findings on the new hunt for alien technology on 3I Atlas. They won't give it up. They just won't give it up. They're saying that there's alien technology on 3I Atlas. But here's the deal. The new observations were made back in December using the 100-meter Green Bank telescope in West Virginia. Last year, speculation was rife over whether 3I Atlas, an interstellar object that has been speeding through our solar system, really is a mere comet, or if it could be an artificially constructed alien spacecraft. It's a comet, goddammit. Mm-hmm. On December 18th, researchers with the Breakthrough Listen program recorded the most sensitive radio observations to date, just before the object reached its closest approach to the Earth. There is currently no evidence to suggest that ISOs or interstellar objects are anything other than the natural astrophysical objects, the study's authors wrote. Thank God they did. However, given the small number of such objects known, only 3 to date, and the plausibility of interstellar probes as a technosignature, a thorough study is warranted. The goal of this particular study was to look for evidence of narrowband radio signals owing to their transmission efficiency and tendency to endure over very long distances through space. To begin with, the researchers picked up 471,000 candidate signals, but as these were filtered out, only 9 potential candidates remained. Sadly, a further analysis revealed these to be the cases of radio frequency interference and not alien signals. So see, no aliens. Mm-hmm. The results echo those of multiple other observations of 3I Atlas over the last few months, and certainly seem to put any idea that the object is an alien spacecraft to bed. You hear that, Mallie? That's me breathing deep and sighing. See, it's a comet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This whole thing needs to go to bed. Enough.
Yes, enough already. The study's authors concluded, our survey concludes that there are no isotropic continuous wave transmitters above 0.1 watts at the location of 3I Atlas. So is this truly the end of the idea that objects such as 3I Atlas could be alien spacecraft? Well, perhaps for now, but if this curious interstellar interloper really was an alien observation platform, it would be reasonable to suggest that if any signals it did happen to be sending out could have also been deliberately masked from us, it says. No, it wasn't masked. It was just a comet.
It's a comet.
It's a comet. Although Travis would tell us, no, they were orcs or whatever he says they are. It wasn't orcs. Meanwhile, conspiracy theorists claim that Steven Spielberg's new film features real aliens.
Okay.
Now, the boys had a bit of actually, it was Bruiser that had a little bit of a doubt with me when I said that one of my predictions for 2026 is that this new film is the beginning of disclosure.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. Or actually the end of disclosure. I maintain, Mallie, and hear me out here, that Close Encounters of the Third Kind was actually the beginning of disclosure. It was the U.S. government's way of introducing disclosure to us. This movie, Disclosure Day, is the end.
Okay.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Scotty?
I mean, I could see that happening. Yeah.
You know? The legendary director's upcoming film Disclosure Day has become the center of a new batch of conspiracy theories. Now, the film stars Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo, and Eve Hewson. Automatically, you think, well, fiction, right? The upcoming science fiction movie, which will be released on June 12th of this year, centers around the themes of extraterrestrial visitation, UFO disclosure, and government cover-ups. For some, however, the plot of the movie perhaps is a bit too convincing, as evidenced by a growing number of people who seem to think that the movie isn't simply intended as a piece of entertainment, but has a genuine release of information concerning real-life alien visitors. Its name, Disclosure Day, certainly isn't helping, especially given the apparent secrecy that surrounded its development and how long it took to be formally revealed. Some now believe the movie itself reveals real extraterrestrial entities and spacecraft. Even the film's poster included the tagline, "All will be disclosed."
Okay.
Okay. There's a belief in certain circles that Spielberg would not make another UFO movie unless there was something fundamentally different about it, a production source told Radar Online. The level of secrecy has convinced conspiracy theorists that this goes beyond fiction, and some genuinely think he has been given access to material that the public has never seen. According to the outlet, another industry source also stated people who already believe the government is hiding proof of aliens see Spielberg as the perfect messenger. They think his movies have been preparing the public for the ultimate disclosure for years. So, could there be any truth to any of this? Surely Disclosure Day is little more than a work of fiction, right? Well, no doubt we will find out one way or another when it hits screens and cinemas in around 6 months' time. And I tell you what, there's a teaser for Disclosure Day in the body of the story. So I'll post this story in the links in the description of this program so that you can watch the trailer. I think it goes one step further than just flying saucers and aliens landing on the White House lawn or whatever in this particular movie.
Okay. Did you watch the trailer?
I have not yet. I'll tell you that. Full disclosure. See what I did there? I haven't watched the trailer yet. But how much do I want to say here without getting in trouble?
Why? Do you have sources
Maybe.
that have told you something?
Hinted.
Okay.
I think you're going to get the whole enchilada here.
Okay.
In Disclosure Day. I think he'll actually hint towards the fact that there are breeding programs and everything going on. I think you'll get it all.
Oh.
Yeah. And maybe even where they are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, see, I would think that the government would be like, that's not allowed to be in this movie.
Well, again, I think we're going to be massaged so that it's not such a surprise when it comes out. Yeah. I really think the government's getting ready. I think it's mainly because we do have a president that is just one of those presidents. It's like, you know what? It's just time. It's just time to let it out. Time to let people know. Why not?
Yeah. F it.
Yeah. F it. Time to put it out there. So, and why not do it? If you put it up on a screen and it's fantastical, people seem to absorb it better. Right?
Right.
If it's in CGI and AI, well, it seems to be more palatable.
If it's done by the guy that did E.T., hello.
Yeah. And if you could make it a little cute and a little furry, why not?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Glowing finger.
That's right. Hey. Speaking of, I was watching I was watching like an E.T. Entertainment Tonight like feature on Drew Barrymore recently.
Okay.
And I forget how astute and how aware Drew Barrymore was at that age.
Mm-hmm.
And they were showing scenes of her on the set of E.T. And it's her relationship with Steven Spielberg at that age was, when we look at it through fresh eyes now, 40 years later, it could have been a little alarming. Like if you take our standards now, when she talks about Steven Spielberg being like a father to her, I think we would have had CPS on set.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, like we would have been like, where are her real parents and why are they not raising her? Well,
yeah, they were allowing her to go to the bar at like the age of 8.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I mean, it seemed like Steven was he might have been the safe parent, but when they're talking about what they were doing to get the range out of her for that movie.
Oh, with the crying and stuff,
the
emotions.
Yeah, the crying and the screaming and whatnot. It just didn't feel like it was safe for a kid that age.
Like the emotional damage that could be causing.
Yeah, no wonder she was drinking and doing drugs. It's just, yeah. You wonder where CPS was at that point.
It's so funny that we're talking about this because I just did, it was like I think it was yesterday, and it was on social media where it's like 10 years from the year you were born, what was the number one movie? Because that's the kind of year you're going to have for 2026. Oh. And mine was E.T. because I was born in 72. And in 82, the number one movie was E.T. So 2026 is going to be the year of aliens, I guess, ETs.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
Jeez, what was the number one movie in 1980? I know it was an Urban Cowboy. That was.
I was going to say, it's an Urban Cowboy or Blazing Saddles or something.
I don't know.
Roundhouse.
Was it Roundhouse?
I don't know. Officer and a Gentleman. What's 1980? Let me see. Where's my phone?
I'm putting it in right now.
Okay, good.
1980.
As I'm knocking over stuff.
It wasn't Empire Strikes Back. It was Empire Strikes Back.
Was it?
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
That's interesting. So it's great.
Was that the one with the Ewoks? Was that the one?
No. That was the tragedy. That was that was the one where they end it with cutting off Luke's hand in Cloud City, and that was the setup for Return of the Jedi. But that's the one where he finds out that Vader is his father, and nothing goes right in that one. Although in my opinion, the best of all Star Wars movies. I love that one.
Right.
Yeah.
The Stormtroopers used to give me nightmares because they are faceless. I mean, you didn't know who was behind the mask. True. So any kind of movie where you don't know who's behind the mask always used to give me nightmares. True.
Although listen to the top movies for 1980. 1980 was a great a great year for movies. These were the top 5 movies in 1980. You ready for this? Uh-huh. Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. Although they didn't call it Episode 5 back then.
Right.
Number 2 was 9 to 5.
Oh, I love that movie.
Right. Number three.
Golly.
Number 3 was Stir Crazy. Gene Wilder and
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who. Okay, yeah. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
why am I doing this?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh God.
Now I gotta look it up. I see his face.
Richard Pryor.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Why did we both do that?
Like I couldn't think of his name though.
Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Yep.
Kramer versus Kramer with Dustin Hoffman.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
It says, though released late 1979, its run extended significantly into 1980. And I believe, in fact, I know it had #1 status into early January of 1980. And then number 5 was Airplane.
Wow.
Yeah. You remember the Barbara Billingsley jive sequence from Airplane?
No.
Where the two African American gentlemen are sitting in the seat and they're talking jive to each other, and the one person comes up and goes, "I don't know what they're talking about," and Barbara Billingsley, Mrs. Cleaver, comes up and says, "Oh, I know how to speak jive. Hold on." She says, "What you talking about, Jack?"
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. That was a pretty good year. In fact, the top grossing movies of 1980, the number. Well, actually, that if you talk about the top grossing movies of 1980, technically that was number 4. Airplane was number 4. Number 5 was Any Which Way You Can, which was the sequel to Any Which Way But Loose, which was a Clint Eastwood movie with the orangutan. Right turn, Clyde.
Boy, okay.
Boy, I'm dating myself.
I barely
now.
remember that. Yeah.
Did you ever watch those movies?
No, but I know what you're talking about, though. But I never saw that. I wasn't a big Clint Eastwood fan.
No. Boy,
I think it was shoved down my throat because of my father.
1980 was such a good year for movies. Number 6 was Private Benjamin.
No, I remember that.
Yeah, with Goldie Hawn. Number 7 was Coal Miner's Daughter.
I remember that.
Yeah, Sissy Spacek.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Smokey and the Bandit 2.
Yep.
Number 9 was The Blue Lagoon.
Oh.
See,
that was too naughty for my age.
I saw at the 100 Twin Drive-In. My parents thought I was asleep in the back of the car.
Oh.
But I was peeked out through a blanket. I was watching. Yep. Number 10 was The Blues Brothers.
Okay.
Evidently, my 2026 is going to rock for movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 11 was Ordinary People.
Oh, that's a serious one.
Yeah. Number 12 was Popeye. You remember Robin Williams' Popeye?
Yes, because I wanted to go see that for my birthday, and my father and mother, well, my father more so, was so not happy that that's what I wanted to go see. And I remember him having a fit because we had to go to movie theater. Yeah. My father was an only child.
Oh, I love it. I went and saw Popeye probably, I want to say probably 3 times in the theater that year.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
No, I got my way. We saw it, but I remember my dad being like, I don't want to go to that. My mother's like, you're going to.
And remember I joked about Urban Cowboy? It did come out in 1980. Yeah.
Oh.
But it wasn't the #1 grossing movie.
Oh.
It was number 13. And Mallie, you know what was number 14? The whole reason I'm going down the list?
Exorcist.
The Shining.
That was close. I was going horror.
Yeah. That's
a good one.
I just had to eventually get to that one.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of round out here, I'm going to go down the list here to some more well-known ones. Number 16, Cheech and Chong's Next Movie. That was more popular when I was older.
Yeah, they're actually funny if you watch those.
They are. Number 17 is Caddyshack.
Oh, that's a good one.
Number 18, Friday the 13th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Isn't that like when we were first exposed to, shouldn't say exposed, but when we were introduced to Kevin Bacon? Wasn't that like one of his first movies?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Or was it? Let me think. Let me look at the individual listing and see. Was he in that or was it a different movie? Let me see. Let's go to stars here. I'm on IMDb.
Yeah, I thought Kevin, or maybe I'm wrong.
I will look here. Let's see. I'm just bringing up the full cast. I know Betsy Palmer was in it. Adrian King is in it. Yes, Kevin Bacon played Jack. You're right. So, yeah.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Look at you.
I know.
You are an encyclopedia
of useless information.
No, it's not useless. Do you remember who the first Jason was? I actually have a mask autographed by him.
Okay, it wasn't Tony.
No,
what's his name?
It wasn't Tony Moran. Who we've met.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because he came to one of our events.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the last name starts with a K?
Nope.
Okay. Do you know who I'm talking about though?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever his name is?
Mm-hmm.
Then no.
You're thinking of the investigator, but no.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yep, it's Ari Lehman.
Oh, then I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, he was the first Jason. Tom Savini also worked on the first Friday the 13th, for those of you who are Savini fans.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting stuff. We had to get into the horror movie stuff there. While we were talking.
Hello, that's our genre.
Yeah, we were talking Spielberg. So 1980, great year for movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So evidently 2026 is going to be a great year.
Sweet.
At least for me.
Right.
I don't know about you guys, but.
Yeah, apparently. The rest of us, it's going to suck.
Just saying. Now that I've taken us way off track from interstellar news, but sometimes you just got to take a detour. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next story. Declassified UK UFO files reference an interest in obtaining alien technology. In other words, duh. I mean, newly published files from the UK's Defence Intelligence Staff reference UFO cases from the 1980s and 1990s, speaking of that decade. The U.S. is not the only country to have published a treasure trove of declassified government documents pertaining to the UFO phenomenon. I do have that sound effect here if you'd like to hear it. I know it's been a while. I mean, since we're doing the 20th anniversary.
Right.
Now, I mean, I think I have it right here, as a matter of fact. Oh, no, that's not it. It's right here. Phenomena. See? It never went away. Some of the UK's own secret files relating to the topic can be found at the National Archives at Kew in southwest London. Among these are reports by the Defence Intelligence Staff, DIS, a military intelligence gathering and analysis organization that is now known more simply as Defense Intelligence. Back in the 1990s, there was a great deal of interest in the UFO phenomena and in the possibility of obtaining extraterrestrial technology to further the country's own military goals. At the time, a spate of sightings of black triangular UFOs had attracted the organization's attention. A supplementary issue is the possibility of technology acquisition. One report from the Times states UAPs do not appear to use conventional reaction propulsion. I don't know why that looked weird, but it is. The Belgian deltas, confirmed by the country's MOD, hovered for long periods and accelerated quickly to supersonic speeds, outrunning F-16s. If this represents real technology, perhaps it should be acquired, says the quote. Another report also mentioned the infamous Rendlesham Forest UFO incident. In both Belgian and Rendlesham Forest cases, the UAP apparently did not use any conventional propulsion system and could hover as well as move at considerable speed, it stated. The French have always had an interest in this topic, and I am aware that there is an informal intelligence grouping in the U.S. Some reports described objects in terms of maneuver, speed, and shape, which lie beyond our engineering knowledge and that which could be reasonably expected from hostile powers. There is considerable difficulty, however, in assessing and prioritizing these reports sufficiently quickly to provide, where warranted, an active response. This again, another quote from the report. Any future concerns, terrestrial or extraterrestrial, are likely to require national or international coordination, responsive only within security alliances. As things stand, however, there is no evidence from the reports to suggest that the UK government ever actually did manage to acquire any examples of extraterrestrial technology. So they would have liked to have, but it doesn't look like they got their hands on any. There you be. I have a quick article here about a mysterious rogue planet that was discovered in the interstellar void. Astronomers have detected an enigmatic free-floating planet approximately 10,000 light years from Earth, whereas it was once believed that all planets orbited stars. Findings have since shown that it is actually possible for planets to be found in the interstellar void far from any solar system. Now the discovery of one particular rogue planet has indicated that these free-floating worlds may be a lot more commonplace than previously thought possible. Situated 9,950 light-years away, the direction of the galactic core, this newfound planet, which has a mass 70 times larger than that of Earth, was spotted thanks to the observations from multiple observatories, including the European Space Agency's now-retired Gaia Space Telescope. While it is not still clear exactly how these planets end up so far from anywhere, the most likely scenario is that they originally formed around a star as usual, but it was then cast out into the void, possibly due to interactions between planets or due to the gravity of a passing star. How would you like to be just floating around your planet around a star and all of a sudden something comes and blows you away? And you're just sitting out in the middle of space, cold, no star, no sun, no nothing. You freeze to death. They don't even give you a blanket. Some might even form independently in the same nebulae that give birth to stars. Subo Dong, that's his name, don't wear it out, of China's Peking University said, our discovery offers further evidence that the galaxy may be teeming with rogue planets. Astronomers are hopeful that next-generation telescopes, such as NASA's Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, do you think she had anything to do with naming that thing?
Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, it flows.
It does, doesn't it? The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. Will make it possible to find many more examples of these free-floating worlds. Who knows? There may even be one in close proximity to our own solar system. It'd be kind of weird to be an astronaut. You're out there just cruising around in your space shuttle and all of a sudden just run across a world right there in the middle of nowhere. It'd be different. So the next story, Mallie, has to do with this. It asks the question, the age-old question that Zachariah Sitchin asked, and that's this. Are we the Martians? And did life on Earth actually begin on Mars? Do you have a thought as to this?
I don't think we began on Mars. How's that?
I like that thought.
Okay.
Sean Jordan has an answer to this. The question is, what if life didn't originate on Earth at all, but instead emerged on Mars before hitching a ride here on a space rock? How would we survive on the space rock? Well, let's find out what Sean Jordan had to say. The question is, how did life begin on Earth? While scientists have theories, they don't yet fully understand the premise, chemical steps that led to biology, or when the first primitive life forms appeared. But what if Earth's life did not originate here, instead arriving on meteorites from Mars? If not the most favored theory for life's origins, but it remains an intriguing hypothesis. Sean Jordan says that timing is a key factor and that Mars formed around 4.6 billion years ago, while Earth is slightly younger at 4.54 billion years old. The surfaces of both planets were initially molten before gradually cooling and hardening. He says that early Mars seems to have had a protective atmosphere and liquid water in the form of oceans, rivers, and lakes. It may also have been geothermally active with plenty of hydrothermal vents and hot springs to provide the necessary conditions for the emergence of life. However, about 4.51 billion years ago, Mars-sized rocky planet called Theia crashed into the proto-Earth. This impact caused both bodies to melt together and then separate into our Earth and Moon. Life had begun before this event, and it certainly would not have survived it. Mars, on the other hand, probably didn't experience a global melting event. The red planet had its fair share of impacts, and the violent early solar system, but evidence suggests that none of these would have been large enough to completely destroy the planet, and some areas would have remained relatively stable. So life arose on Mars shortly after the formation of the planet 4.6 billion years ago, and it could have continued evolving without major interruptions for at least 500 million years. After this time, Mars' magnetic field collapsed, making the beginning of the end for Martian habitability. The protective atmosphere disappeared, leaving the planet's surface exposed to freezing temperatures and ionizing radiation from space. But what of the Earth, and how soon did life appear after the impact that formed the moon? Tracing the tree of life back to its roots, leading to a microorganism called Luca. By the way, it lives on the second floor. Lives
I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Because I started singing it in my head.
Okay, sorry. The last universal common ancestor. This is the microbial species from which all life today is descended. A recent study reconstructed Luca's, don't sing it, characteristic using genetics and the fossil record of early life on Earth. It inferred that Luca lived 4.2 billion years ago, right upstairs from you, earlier than previous estimates. Luca was not the earliest organism on Earth, but one of multiple species of microbe existing in tandem on our planet at this time. They were competing, cooperating, and surviving the elements, as well as fending off attacks from viruses. I'm looking at a pan of cheesecake. Is Luca in cheesecake?
What?
Yeah, there's a... Oh, it's mixed gelatin. It's an ad. I don't know. There's an ad right next to Luca, and I'm like, is Luca in cheesecake? It's the weirdest thing. Why would you put an ad for gelatin and cheesecake next to Luca? Anyways, small attention span theater here. Yeah. If small but fairly complex ecosystems were present on Earth around 4.2 billion years ago, life must have originated earlier. But how much earlier? The new estimate for the age of Luca is 360 million years after the formation of Earth and 290 million years after the moon forming impact. But all we know is that in these 290 million years, chemistry somehow became biology. So there was that little change there. And somewhere in there, it all converted over. A Martian origin for terrestrial life circumvents this question. According to the hypothesis, species of Martian microorganism could have traveled to Earth on meteorites just in time to take advantage of the clement conditions following the moon's formation. The timing may be convenient for this idea. However, as someone who works in the field, his hunch would be that 290 million years ago is plenty of time for chemical reactions to produce the first living organisms on Earth and for biology to subsequently diversify and become more complex. So he's thinking that's when the change happened and life crossed over from Mars to Earth.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a little complex, but that's what Sean Jordan's theory is.
Okay. I mean, I understand what he's thinking, but I disagree.
Right on. I'll take your theory. The Warminster thing is what it's called. It's a UFO mystery that still intrigues more than 60 years ago. It's hard to say the year 1965 and think that was 60 years ago, but it was.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it, does it?
Nope.
But back in 1965, the English town of Warminster became the center of a series of peculiar and unexplained occurrences. It often seems as though the most unassuming of places end up becoming hotspots for paranormal activity, UFO sightings, and other mysterious phenomena. Certainly in the case of Warminster, which is a small town on the western edge of England's Salisbury Plain, this certainly seems to hold true. Just over 60 years ago, this otherwise unremarkable town became the center of a spate of unexplained sightings and occurrences that range from UFO sightings to strange loud noises. One of the first such incidents happened on Christmas Day of 1964, when multiple residents reported a deep droning noise that rattled rooftops and seemed to defy explanation. Before long, several people had come forward with reports of other strange noises, as well as sightings of flying saucers and cigar-shaped objects in the sky. In one case, a woman who had been out around midnight found herself completely unable to move. In another, a man who had been walking his dog encountered something akin to a wall of sudden heat and pressure, almost like the shockwave of some strange high-energy experiment. There were also other reports of a monstrous orange flame in the sky, which crackled and hissed, as well as tales of birds falling dead onto the ground for no known reason. Generally dubbed the Warminster thing. Not the scariest thing I've heard of today, but we'll take it. The phenomenon, again. Phenomenon. There you go. Carried on for many years, with residents continuing to report strange incidents and sightings in and around the town. It has since been suggested that a nearby military presence may have been to blame. Yet it's difficult to imagine how this alone would account for such a wide and varied spate of reports. Just recently, a new mural was unveiled in the town to mark the phenomenon's 60th anniversary. Again, it's the 20th anniversary of us, and I have to do this again. I'm sorry. I'm hooked on it now, Mel. Whatever was to blame, the mystery still remains on the minds of those who live here today. Whatever a definitive explanation will ever be found, however, remains to be seen. But they call it the Warminster thing.
Okay.
Is that stuck in your head now, the Warminster thing?
Well, when you said Warminster, I was trying to think. Well, I got sidetracked because of anyway, because I can't concentrate very well. But what was the character's name from the Christmas thing? It was something Minster.
Which Christmas thing?
Like was it Rudolph? Like the old claymations or stop animation, whatever it's called. But it was something Minster. I don't know. So when you say Warmation,
heat miser.
That's what it was. Because when you kept saying Minster, I was like, God, it was reminding me of a character, and I couldn't think what it was.
It's not the War Miser, it's the Warminster.
Okay.
Yeah. Same thing. Although
Here's my ADHD popping out.
Although War Miser would have been more fun. Yeah. No, that's the Heat Miser. Yeah. It's Mr. Heat Miser. Yeah.
I was way off.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. Well, Mallie, my cousin over there at the Vatican, is now preparing for first contact with aliens this year. That, at least according to a UFO researcher.
Okay.
Yep. Previous popes have said they would bless an alien if they came, or they baptize an alien if they came over to the Vatican. Mm-hmm. I think my cousin would probably feed them an Italian beef sandwich, and they'd sit around and watch White Sox games.
Uh-huh.
I think this pope's a little different.
Do you think he's ever going to show up at a family reunion?
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope so. I'm going to try and invite him to one.
There you go.
See if he'll show up.
Mm-hmm.
Think he will?
It would be nice if he did. It'd be kind of cool.
It'd be nice. Do you think there's a family resemblance here? Right. If I hold up the...
For some odd reason, I thought he was younger looking.
No.
I like how your face is frozen, though, to still match the picture. There's a little bit of one.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Wait, let me do this.
There you go. Oh, totally. I can see the resemblance right there.
Right there?
Yeah.
If I do the accent, now do we look at the same? How you doing, everybody? Huh?
The resemblance is strong. It is amazing.
I'm the Pope. Who wants the spaghetti? Huh? Who wants to watch the White Sox game? Eh? Like spot on. Pretty much. It's like we're body doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know who's who.
You can't tell. No.
Not at all.
Not at all. It's like we're separated at birth.
Yep. Twins.
Almost. Twinsies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you go.
Popesies. Yeah. Pretty much. A British documentary maker claims the Vatican could be bracing itself for the prospect of an extraterrestrial encounter, with the Pope potentially addressing first contact with aliens in the coming years. UFO researcher Mark Christopher Lee claims to have secured rare access to the Vatican's confidential archives and is investigating historical accounts, not hysterical, but historical, See what I did there? Of unexplained occurrences that may shed light on humanity's interaction and alien civilizations. He suggests the Catholic Church is already contemplating the theological and spiritual ramifications of discovering the extraterrestrial life. Lee explained, I've been given rare access to the Vatican's secret archives. Oh, they have secret archives.
Ooh. I want in.
Okay, let's go over. We'll go over.
Okay.
We'll go over this summer. It'll be nice. We'll go
Perfect.
over. We'll have a spaghetti dinner with my cousin, and we'll check out the secret archives.
I'll wear the T-shirt that says "I'm with him."
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
With the finger pointing.
Yeah. And then I'll have a matching shirts with the cousin. They'll say Popesies. Popesies. And then we'll matching with the finger pointing.
Popesies.
Yep. So he says, I've been given rare access to the Vatican's secret archives. I'll be looking for any historical references to unexplained phenomena, spiritual encounters, or anything that could shed light on humanity's possible contact with intelligent life beyond Earth. If we are close to confirming intelligent life beyond Earth, no institution will feel the shock waves more than the Catholic Church. The new Pope could become the first spiritual leader in history to address first contact, and I intend to find out how prepared the Church really is. He questioned, could the Church have been quietly preparing for this moment all along, and what might the new Pope reveal when the truth is finally confronted? In his latest documentary, God versus Aliens, I want to see that fight. I don't know about you. Who you got money on?
We'll go with God.
I don't know why that made me laugh, but...
because I'm not going up there when it comes my time.
I'm going with God.
I need all the brownie points I can get.
I just know the aliens don't have enough lasers. Lee contends that UFO encounters and paranormal events are connected and maintains the Church may be considerably more receptive to the existence of extraterrestrials than most people realize. Lee said, faith and prophecy have always guided humanity. Now with UFO disclosure and global interest at an all-time high, these forces are converging in a way that have never happened before. 2026 could be the year everything changes. Vatican astronomers have historically maintained that the existence of extraterrestrial life would not contradict Christian faith. Back in 2008, Father Gabriel Funes suggested that intelligent beings created by God might exist beyond Earth. In an article for the Vatican newspaper, he wrote, just as there is a multiplicity of creatures over the earth, there could be other beings, even intelligent beings created by God. This is not in contradiction with our faith because we cannot establish limits to God's creative freedom. To say it with St. Francis, if we can consider some earthly creatures as brothers and sisters, why could we not speak of a brother alien? He would also belong to the creation. More recently, Pope Leo XIV's newly appointed astronomer revealed he would be willing to baptize an alien, describing extraterrestrials as children of God. Father Richard de Souza, who currently heads the Vatican Observatory near Rome, argued that theology would need to reimagine itself should humanity ever encounter an intelligent life. He said, they are all a part of God's creation. The question would be how to reach them, or how would they reach us? Easy, through your cell phone. That's how they reach you. Right? It's hard to baptize through Zoom, though. I suppose you could do that.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, I guess. All right, with that, we're going to take our break, and we're going to figure out how we baptize an alien. And when we come back, we've got plenty on store. We've got, we've got a Parashare that will share predictions for 2026 from a listener. We've got, we have that AI news coming up too. I forgot about that now. We got that. By the way, AI is going to tell us exactly how it's going to prove that Jesus was never crucified. We've got that coming up.
Oh, boy.
We're going to try and not get hit by a lightning bolt somewhere in that story. Yeah. There's that. Also, coming up in the big program today, we do have a story about a dead father who woke up in a body bag at a funeral home hours after he died. That should be some fun. Mm-hmm. Revelers time travel to celebrate New Year's twice, sort of. I'll tell you how that happened. I don't know how you spent your New Year's, Mallie, but I doubt it was time traveling.
Nope. Alas, it was not.
It was not. A study of a 117-year-old woman offers the clues to extreme human longevity, why Mallie doesn't want to live to be extremely long in the tooth. We'll tell you how.
Okay. I was going to say just extremely long. I'm like, how are you going to work this one?
Just long in the tooth. An ancient Egyptian party boat discovered in the waters of Alexandria. We'll tell you why none of the Minnesota Vikings were on it. It's just a really old Minnesota Vikings joke I figured I could pull out. Pull out, that's what she said. And your palate cleanser, speaking of pulling out, is not safe for work. We'll tell you why it involves an eel. Again, hide your kids, hide your wife. That's coming up at the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Supernatural News and Parashare right here on a Wednesday. It's the 7th of January. We're coming back in just a bit right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. With me is my co-hostess, the co-hostess with the mostest, Mallie Fox. Hi, Mallie.
Hello, hello.
Well, I suppose, my friend, it's that time again. Once again, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and get going with this, shall we? It's that time once again. It's time now for our AI news. Surprise, surprise, AI is showing signs of self-preservation and humans should be ready to pull the plug, says a pioneer of AI whatever. Canadian computer scientist Yoshua Bengio? warns against granting legal rights to cutting-edge technology. A pioneer of AI has criticized calls to grant the technology rights, warning that it's showing signs of self-preservation and humans should be prepared to pull the plug if needed. Yoshua Bengio said giving legal status to cutting-edge AIs would be akin to giving citizenship to hostile extraterrestrials amid fears that advances in the technology were far outpacing the ability to constrain them. Bengio, chair of a leading international AI safety study, said the growing perception that chatbots were becoming conscious was going to drive bad decisions. The Canadian computer scientist also expressed concern that AI models, the technology that underpins tools like chatbots, were showing signs of self-preservation, such as trying to disable oversight systems. A core concern among AI safety campaigners that powerful systems could develop the capability to evade guardrails and harm humans. Bingo said, Bingo was his name-o. No. That people are demanding that AIs have rights would be a huge mistake. Frontier AI models have already shown signs of self-preservation in experimental settings today, and eventually giving them rights would mean we're not allowed to shut them down. As their capabilities and degree of agency grow, we need to make sure that we can rely on technical and societal guardrails to control them, including the ability to shut them down if needed. As AIs become more advanced in their ability to act autonomously and perform reasoning tasks, a debate has grown over whether humans should, at some point, grant them rights. Does that sound like a good idea to you, Mel?
No.
I don't think so either. A poll by the Sentience Institute, a U.S. think tank that supports the moral rights of all sentient beings, found that nearly 4 in 10 U.S. adults backed legal rights for a sentient AI system.
What?
I think those people need to get out of the house and touch grass. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Anthropic, a leading U.S. AI firm, said in August that it was letting its Claude Opus 4 model close down potentially distressing conversations with users, saying it needed to protect the AI's welfare. Elon Musk, whose XAI company has developed the Grok chatbot, wrote in his X platform that torturing AI is not okay. I'll do what I damn well please. I paid for it. Robert Long, a researcher on AI consciousness, has said if and when AIs develop moral status, we should ask them about their experiences and references rather than assuming we know best. BINGO told the Guardian that there were real scientific properties of consciousness in the human brain that machines could, in theory, replicate, but humans interacting with chatbots was a different thing. He said this was because people tended to assume without evidence that an AI was fully conscious in the same way a human is. People wouldn't care what kind of mechanisms are going on inside the AI, he added. What they care about is it feels like they're talking to an intelligent entity that has their own personality and goals. That is why there are so many people who are becoming attached to their AIs. I would agree with that. I think people project their own personalities onto AI.
Yep.
I don't think they're talking to anything that has a conscious. That's for sure. Side note, did you see that Hyundai and Boston Scientific launched a new robot for assembly lines yesterday?
No, I did not.
That thing looks scary as hell.
I'll have to check it out. No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's a demonstration video. If I can find it, I'll post a link to it. I'll try and find the link from the news yesterday, but this thing was doing cartwheels on the stage. Then when Boston Scientific, I know there's a 60 Minutes story about something similar that they're working on. They said the only thing that it can't do, believe it or not, is carry a cup of coffee across the room, because there's certain things that it can't do because it'll throw off its geodes.
Okay.
And it'll collapse and it's kind of funny. It'll collapse into a heap and kind of lay on the floor, and then they have to completely reassemble it and bring it back to its neutral state. Otherwise, they pretty much can do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, the 60 Minutes correspondent was doing a walk and talk. Is what they call it in the business, right? So he's doing his walk and talk, and it's aping his movements perfectly of the walk and talk. It was scary.
Yeah. Speaking of scary, did you see how all of those people gathered for the fireworks that were supposed to happen at the Brooklyn Bridge? For New Year's? Yeah. So supposedly it was like AI. All of these people believed that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes. So Derek and I were talking that our concern was if you had all of these people, thousands of people believing because of AI that there was going to be fireworks on the Brooklyn Bridge, think about how that would be for like warfare. I mean, if you were going to blow up something or have like a mass attack, if you have all these people believing, fireworks to gather in one spot where you could have something awful happen because they believed, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I had that story at one time.
That's scary because you have all those people gathering on top of the bridge, along the bridge, and they're believing it.
Yeah.
So if you want to do massive destruction or a massive attack.
Yeah, I had that story at one time pulled for today, and I don't know what happened to it. It's like it got wiped off my system. Here it is. Yeah, for the second year in a row. I have it right here. Fake AI ads brought hundreds to watch non-existent New Year's fireworks for the second year in a row. And it says dazzling fireworks displays are a New York staple or a New Year's tradition around the world. In England, they do it in Birmingham. They're gathered to welcome the new year, admiring booming and crackling rockets. The lack of a show wasn't due to malfunctioning equipment or poor planning, though. They were never supposed to be any fireworks in the first place. Everyone in the crowd had fallen victim to an online hoax. Fake, likely AI-generated social media posts had been promised for a supposed fireworks show in central Birmingham, and people had swallowed the story hook, line, and sinker. But possibly the weirdest thing is that this isn't the first time that Birmingham residents had been fooled by a made-up New Year's event. The exact same thing happened at the end of 2024 as well. You want to ask why people fell for the same hoax again, but why you probably should be asking is who kept posting stories about non-existent fireworks. Toward the end of 2025, online ads and articles promising plenty of pomp and circumstance began circulating on the English web. According to the announcements, there would be a great New Year's celebration in Birmingham's Centenary Square. The ads promised that there would be live music, food, refreshments, and even a skating rink. In the end, the evening's festivities would be capped off by a fireworks display. Well, this sure sounds like a good time, but hundreds of Brummies, as the English called Birmingham residents, thought so too. And a huge crowd gathered at the square to celebrate New Year's, despite the below freezing temperatures. Only there's no celebration, no lights, no food, no music, and certainly no fireworks. That was because all the event ads were fake. There was never supposed to be any fireworks in the city center, and there hasn't been any since 2017.
Right, but that was Birmingham, but this was Brooklyn Bridge. This was New York City that was happening as well. And you had supposedly like over 1,000 because people were doing like live streams and stuff. And the bridge was packed. Then you had along I think it was like the Battery or wherever it was, along the river.
Oh,
you
okay.
had it packed.
I see that one too.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you had all these people believing the AI advertisements, I mean, if you wanted to do something bad, and you had all these people believing the AI, I mean, this is the way to go, unfortunately. If you have everybody believing this stuff, I mean, this could be the next bad case scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Huge crowds of duped revelers gathered in Brooklyn Bridge Park, counting down to midnight. It says Dumbo and surrounding neighborhoods were flooded with visitors and traffic well into the early hours of January 1st due to misleading New Year's Eve fireworks featured online. Social media news outlets had shown the 4th of July fireworks at the Brooklyn Bridge, announcing New Year's Eve fireworks in the same place. Bizarre. Why is this like an epidemic now?
Right. But I mean, it could be dangerous. That's what we were talking about, that this could be really bad if you have people believing this kind of stuff. I mean, AI can be.
Well, that begs the question, this year's the 250th celebration of America's birthday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the forming of America.
Right.
Come July 4th, how many of these are you going to see? Right.
Yeah.
How many fake celebrations are you going to see online?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the next step to this, and I hate to say this, Mallie, is how many, the next logical step to this is gathering people in one place and then setting them up for a potential attack.
Right. That's what we were talking about, that it's not good.
No.
It's scary because,
Yeah.
Because you can't as we know, you can't make AI illegal. So it's not like the government can go, oh, we can prevent this from happening.
Right.
From people having a large gathering because people are falling for it.
Right. Yeah. People use this technology for the weirdest reasons. All right, let's jump into one more here. And as far as AI news, new evidence, Mallie, shows that Jesus was never crucified, and AI can prove it without a doubt.
Oh boy.
Here's the guy who fooled around with AI and found out.
Yep.
His name is Julian Doyle. He's a veteran filmmaker behind Monty Python's Life of Brian. He says that he spent decades researching and claims that the man put to death was not Jesus, but someone else entirely. Are you ready for this story?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me if you believe this or not.
Okay.
A veteran filmmaker behind Monty Python's Life of Brian claims to have uncovered new evidence that Jesus was never crucified and says that artificial intelligence can prove it. Because that's the first source I go to.
Mm-hmm.
Julian Doyle said he has spent decades searching since becoming troubled while editing the now infamous scene where Eric Idle, Graham Chapman, and John Cleese hang on their crosses singing "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life." After 40 years of research, he now claims the man put to death was not Christ, but Judas the Galilean, a rebel who led an uprising against Roman rule. He says the church confused the two men as Christianity was taking shape and that Jesus took part in an earlier symbolic ritual crucifixion before being put to death years later by stoning. You may say, well, Tim, how did that happen? Well, I'm not finished. Over time, he says, the two stories became intertwined, creating the version of events that form the basis of Christian belief. The story of Jesus being crucified and rising from the dead, Doyle said, the theory first struck him as he edited the crucifixion scene in which Eric Idle, Graham Chapman, and John Cleese hung on their crosses, singing "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life." More than 40 years on, after decades of research, he says artificial intelligence has finally given him the tool to test his theory, and it agrees with him. By putting almost 100 contradictions from the Bible into AI programs, he was able to show without a doubt that it was Judas the Galilean who was killed by Pilate and not Jesus. Following hours of questioning, he says the largest AI programs, ChatGPT, DeepSeek Grok, Claude, and Google Gemini, all accepted that his explanation made sense after the historical record that his explanation made better sense of the historical record than the Bible. I got it right. He sets out the full argument in his new book, How to Unravel the Gospel Story Using AI, which he describes as a manual that allows readers to test the theory for themselves. Doyle, who's now 83 years old, also worked on Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Time Bandits, and Brazil, and on music videos for Kate Bush and Iron Maiden. He said his findings amount to one of the biggest religious discoveries in history. That is, if you believe it.
Mm-hmm.
He says, quote, as I sat there piecing the footage together, something began to trouble me. The more I looked at that scene, the more I felt that the event I portrayed could have never happened the way we have been told. For decades, I kept refining the evidence, testing each detail against the historical record, but I was then presented with a serious problem. The information was so bizarre and so completely contradicted that scholarly consensus that obviously I would be labeled a crank if I dared mention any part of it. You got that right. So I was stuck for years. That was until artificial intelligence came to my rescue. Until now, the accepted version has been that Jesus was crucified by the Romans at Golgotha outside Jerusalem on the orders of Pontius Pilate. According to the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, he was nailed to the cross alongside two criminals, died after several hours, and was buried in a rock-cut tomb before rising from the dead 3 days later, the cornerstone of Christian belief. But Doyle's theory challenges each part of that story. He says the execution described in the Bible was that of another man, Judas the Galilean, a rebel who led a violent revolt against Roman taxation in 6 AD. Jesus, he claims, was not a rebel like the Galilean, but a teacher and a mystic healer who underwent a symbolic crucifixion in the garden in Bethany years later. or rather years earlier, an event that he survived entirely unharmed. And 16 years later, Doyle argues Jesus was stoned to death for sorcery and blasphemy. In his view, the overlapping lives of the two men were later merged into a single story by early followers who wanted to present Jesus' crucifixion as an actual death rather than a symbolic rite. That, he says, is how Christianity inherited the image of a crucified Savior who rose from the dead, a fusion of two men whose fate became one. All right, I'm almost done with the story, Mallie, but what are you thinking so far?
I don't believe him.
It's a little hard to swallow.
Yes.
Doyle shared his theory with the Python cast and with friends, but never aired them publicly for fear of being labeled a crank. But he continued his research by combing through texts and applying what he called the Sherlock Holmes method of eliminating the impossible to see what remains. And now, more than 4 decades after first suspecting something was wrong with the biblical story, he says artificial intelligence has proved his study correct. He fed 99 anomalies, but a bitch ain't one, hit me, into each of his main AI systems and asked them to evaluate his theory. All judged it to be coherent and logically consistent alternative to the traditional account. ChatGPT is quoted as saying that the most comprehensive and integrative theory yet attempted. DeepSeek called it a monumental achievement in historical research. And Claude AI went further, describing the theory as one that merits serious academic consideration and, if proved correct, would require a complete rewriting of early Christian history. Doyle argues that these AI responses matter because the systems can analyze large bodies of primary material without theological bias. The story spans theology, history, linguistics, and archaeology, a range so broad that no single scholar could verify it unaided. AI, he says, can process that volume of evidence in seconds. It doesn't believe, it just tests your logic, he wrote. How to Unravel the Gospel Story Using AI reproduces the 99 questions he put to the systems and is described as a small book with big implications. He presents it as a step-by-step guide that allows readers to test the theory themselves, following the same method by questioning the questioning he uses, let me try that again. Following the same method of questioning he used to interrogate the Gospels with artificial intelligence. He wrote, "I am not attacking faith. I am challenging the assumption that faith and fact are the same thing. Belief in God is personal, but history has to be fact." He says this is the first time the Gospels have ever been examined in this way, and the findings have now been validated by all of the most powerful AI systems in the world, all 4 decades of study. The conclusion remains the same, and now even the machines agree that the church crucified the wrong man. Kind of a hard pill to swallow all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to really sit and read it to try and absorb the whole thing.
Right.
But I don't know if I believe it.
And do you think Jesus would allow someone to be crucified for him? You know what I mean?
I think he's contending it's 2 different stories, and that Jesus really was killed, but he was killed by stoning.
Mm-hmm.
And he was killed for blasphemy, for sorcery. Or as King Henry says in that commercial, sorcery! Yeah, and that it was something completely different. And that that essentially the story was put together with crucifixion to make it more dramatic.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time.
True.
But, because a stoning death is not, does not one martyr make, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way that the story's told, it's certainly makes for, a better story, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But then definitely though, if it wasn't Jesus up there then and he was stoned, then definitely oh God.
Well, then
No, I'm drawing a blank. Then
the Shroud of Turin.
Yes,
right.
thank you.
Then
that's not real.
Yeah, then that wouldn't be Jesus either.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then how do you explain, the cave and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then everything it's
Yeah.
it's opening a whole can of worms.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't know if I don't know. It's a big pill to swallow. We'll put it that way. And we'll leave it in that place and we'll let it lie. We'll leave it to you to decide, the faithful viewer and listener. All right. Our next story has to do with a dead father who woke up in a body bag at a funeral home hours after he died. A 78-year-old farmer made global headlines when he suddenly woke up after being declared dead, just as an undertaker was prepared to embalm him at a funeral home. In an astonishing case of a medical miracle and mystery, a pensioner who was mistakenly pronounced dead and about to be embalmed woke up inside a body bag at a funeral home. Walter Williams was a farmer who made global headlines when he woke up, just as undertakers at Porter & Sons Funeral Home in Mississippi were preparing to embalm him. It turns out that the 78-year-old Walter at the time was actually still alive. Now, this isn't a recent story. It happened on February 27th of 2014. The grandfather of 15 had been admitted to a hospice suffering from congestive heart failure. Medical staff pronounced him dead after the coroner and nurse checked his pulse around 9 p.m. and were unable to find a heartbeat. He was subsequently transported to Porter & Sons Funeral Home in a body bag. Just as embalmers were preparing to begin the preservation process, the procedure used to delay composition for public viewing at funerals and wakes, he started to move. Emergency services rushed Walter to the hospital, where doctors suggested a combination of medications or a faulty pacemaker might have caused his vital signs to vanish. Holmes County Coroner Dexter Howard told CNN at the time, "We got him into the embalming room, and we noticed his legs beginning to move, like kicking. He also began to do a little breathing. Every case I do is a learning experience," Dexter added. When questioned what learning he gained from the Walter Williams case, he replied, "Well, that miracles can happen."
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a good lesson.
Mm-hmm.
His nephew, Eddie Hester, said, "I stood there and watched them put him in a body bag and zip it up. That was at 10:30 p.m. And at 2:30 a.m., my cousin called me and said, 'Not yet.' And I said, 'What do you mean not yet?' He, my cousin, said, 'Daddy's still here.'" That according to the Mirror. Dexter told the BBC that Walter's family were just in a state of shock after they learned of his recovery and were rejoicing. The coroner shared he had never seen anything like the Walter Williams case in his entire experience of working as a coroner for over 2 decades. "It's an unusual case, and I hope he keeps going on," said Dexter. Walter's daughter, Martha Lewis, said, "Seemed like he had more life in him again. And then he had just stopped talking. He told us, 'What did you all stop talking for? Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. It was not my daddy's time. I don't know how much longer he's going to grace us and bless us with his presence, but hallelujah. We thank him right now.'" Tragically, barely 15 days after the story was captured worldwide attention, or after it had captured worldwide attention, Walter, whose nickname was Snowball, died at his residence in Lexington, Mississippi at 4:15 a.m. on the morning of March 14th of 2014. The pensioner died of natural causes. Speaking to CNN, Eddie said, "I think he's gone this time." better test to make sure.
Exactly.
Calling it a 2-week miracle, his nephew said, "It was a 2-week miracle for me, and I enjoyed every minute of it, and my family did too." But hey, you got an extra 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's unusual, though. I mean, to pass away or seemingly pass away and then come back and have that extra 2 weeks, that is kind of special. I like that story.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say it was in a foreign country, because usually they are.
Sometimes they are, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do that to my family just to scare the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm. Surprise!
Surprise!
Stop dividing up that money. Not quite yet.
That's right. I'm not out of here yet. Give me my money
All $2.52.
That's right. You won't get my $3.
Yep.
Not yet. I'm taking $1 back. I need a candy bar. You can't get a candy bar for $1.
Nope.
I don't know what I'm talking about. $2. I'm taking $2 for a candy bar. I have a story here about, it's a little dated, but I have a story here about a woman who lives with dozens of haunted dolls and how they're extra active at Christmas time. I don't know why they'd be extra active at Christmas time, but...
Yeah, that's a little odd.
Tej, the paranormal investigator, said some of her favorite memories from her now 54-strong doll collection have come from their extra active period during Christmas. Are you curious about this one?
Well, I'm curious why it's Christmas time.
Yeah, let's find out. A woman who lives with dozens of haunted dolls has revealed Christmas drives him crazy, once even turning her home into the battleground of a full-on prank war. Tej, who's a U.S.-based paranormal investigator and haunted items collector, has spent the past 5 years amassing ghoulish artifacts and now lives alongside dozens of them. Among her vast collection is a mass assortment of 54 haunted dolls who currently reside in their own room at her house. She claims the dolls wreak havoc by flickering the lights, raiding the fridge, and even hijacking her electronics to play their favorite songs on normal days. But at Christmas time, the experience is ratcheted to another level. Tej says she encounters unexplained movements and mysteriously rearranged decorations overnight. Oh, they hate Christmas decorations, huh? When the festive season hits, creating some of her favorite moments. She says, I've had a few favorite moments happen around Christmas. Once I had hung small stockings on the shelving unit where I keep the dolls. What started as a festive gesture quickly turned into a full-blown prank war. Every time I turned my back, the stockings would get pulled down. They're cringes. I love it. It became a daily routine in December where I'd hang them back up and they'd knock them down. Yeah. Eventually, I told whichever spirit kept their stocking up until Christmas without messing with it, or without messing with me, would get an extra gift because I was getting tired of picking them up. By Christmas Day, only 2 stockings were still hanging. They didn't care about the gift.
Mm-hmm.
And another spooky experience took place while she was filming a clip for her TikTok account. Tej said, just as I was wrapping things up and telling everyone I was about to log off, music started blaring from my Alexa downstairs. I went to check, and sure enough, a Queen song was playing. Fittingly, that's the favorite band of my haunted teddy bear, Jeremiah. What was it, Fat Bottom Girls? What was he playing?
Stop.
Oh, let's see here. It says, but she does have set rules with the dolls to ensure the mischief doesn't go too far, but which she introduces when welcoming them into her home. Tej said, we clearly explain our expectations. No harm to us, our pets, or anyone who visits the house. The only formal step we take when welcoming a new haunted doll is setting verbal boundaries. While we never had an issue, it's something we do out of precaution, since every new spirit is an unknown until we get to know them better. We also ask that no exterior doors or windows are opened, mainly to ensure our pets stay inside. And believe it or not, we've had to add a rule about not blasting music or TV at full volume. That one came from experience. So they're loud. They're like bad tenants.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're awful roommates.
Yeah. Once I came home to find a movie playing so loudly that I could hear it from the street. So we had to put a stop to that one pretty quickly. Tija's lifelong interest with spirits sparked after a dramatic encounter when she was just 6 years old and in first grade. She and her family, who also share an interest in ghost hunting, were using an Ovilus. Oh, we have a friend who would be interested in this. A device said to convert environmental energy into words displayed on a screen. Tej said out of nowhere, the Ovilus said, "Get out of the way, fast." We didn't wait. We moved immediately. Right after we cleared the area, a car whipped around the corner. It was really dark. And if we hadn't moved, there's a good chance we could have been hit. That moment stuck with me, not just because it was my first clear experience, but because we felt like a spirit was trying to help us. Let's see, is there more there? I think that's it. I think that's the end of the story. Oh, where is it? Hold on just one second. Oh, no, there's a little bit more here. That was the first time I felt like a spirit interaction was actually positive, and that's something I've kept in mind ever since. It's a big part of why I'm now interested in haunted dolls, specifically ones with positive energy. That early experience shaped the way I look at the paranormal today. Since beginning her collection 5 years ago, Tej has encountered dozens of haunted toys, researching their histories online and visiting exhibitions to meet them in person. Despite the unusual antics of her haunted collection, Tej says the holiday season brings a special kind of joy to her home. How much joy, though, if the TV is up so loud that the neighbors are hearing it?
Right, exactly. Gonna have complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been to that antique store? It's called, I think it's like Hunt and Gather. It's in Minneapolis. It's like Xerxes and 50th. They have like a lot of odd stuff.
Yeah, I think I have been. Yeah.
So down in the basement, they have this one room and it's all dolls.
Yeah.
It's like the creepiest room. It's just floor to ceiling, 360 dolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the strangest thing.
See, I'm not as creeped out by old dolls as some people are. But I don't know why. Some people, they get the willies from them.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
So I find it more annoying because I think a lot of people claim dolls are haunted and they're not, because they're just trying to make a buck. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes.
Like you go on eBay, every doll is haunted. It's like, okay, yeah, right, whatever.
Yeah. I was talking to the there's a pawn shop right down the mall from. We're in a mall at KNSI. It's called the Radio Mall.
Okay.
On Saint Germain there in St. Cloud. And the pawn shop moved out a couple months ago. And the pawn shop there, the guy had a couple of old dolls, probably I'd say about 6 old dolls.
Okay.
Right. And so I asked the pawn shop owner, I said, getting rid of those? And he goes, yeah, because they marked everything down before they moved out.
Okay.
I said, how cheap are you going to go on them? And he said, I don't know that I'm going to go that cheap because I can take them to flea markets and stuff and get rid of them. So I was like, okay. And I said to him, by any chance, any of them haunted? And he kind of looked at me and he goes, you know how often I get that question? And I said, pretty often. He goes, yeah. And he goes, I never noticed anything.
Right.
I'm like, I didn't figure you did.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, why do you ask? And I go, oh, I don't know, just a hobby. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, no, I don't think any of them are haunted. Although, you always get the although.
Uh-huh.
It feels kind of weird over there every once in a while. I was like, oh, okay. I said, you ever see anything? Nah, no, I've never really seen anything. Although, you get the although. He goes, every once in a while I kind of feel like there's somebody watching me over there. Like, oh.
But that could be anything if he's a pawn shop owner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There could be attachment to any of the items that are in his store.
Right. So I was almost like, I didn't want to push it any further. I almost wanted to go, well, point out which one you think is, But you never know, right? I mean, you never know with it. Because he had like 7 or 8 of these dolls. So I went over to these dolls. I'm kind of staring at them thinking, which one feels the creepiest? Like it might be. But see, I know for a fact, and I'm not pointing out any people or names or anything like that, Mallie, but I know for a fact that there are certain people in this field that will just pick out a doll that looks creepy, put it on eBay,
And say it's haunted.
and say it's haunted. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Just because it looks creepy,
right.
you know? And they know that there's this fervor for haunted dolls.
Mm-hmm.
And people buy it.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to prove it?
Exactly. Unless you've got, some type of record that says, yeah, these things have happened around this particular, toy. Because, yes, dolls can be vessels. Anything can be. So, I do think some dolls have attachments. It's rare, but I do think that there are some. I have a couple dolls that are antiques that are from the 1800s that were gifts, to me. Mm-hmm. But when people just go to like rummage sales or just buy something and then claim it's haunted and try and sell it for, $60, $70, $100, it's like, okay, that looks like a cracked doll, found from a dumpster. Right. And you're going to say it's haunted.
Well, also, you can have an empty vessel, right? I had this discussion with Patty Negri on the show. You can create your own haunted doll. You could have an empty vessel. You could put a tulpa in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Or you could summon a spirit and put it in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I could sell you a doll that looks creepy, and you could create your own spirit and put it in there.
Mm-hmm.
I could still sell you the quote unquote haunted doll.
Yeah.
I could sell you the perfect doll to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I win.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a bazillion of them out there. If you ever go on eBay or Etsy, it's like, okay. Seriously, if you're logical, it's like, okay, there cannot be 500 haunted dolls out there.
Right. And who would want to spend eternity trapped in a doll?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Now, maybe Barbie's dream house. Okay.
Right.
The one with the pool. Okay, I got it.
Right. And then who would really want to spend eternity trapped in a Ken doll? With, smooth as a.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to have some junk in the afterlife. I got to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Oh, so sad. All right. Our next story. New Year's. How did you celebrate New Year's?
What did I do? I ate a lot.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yep. And then, what did I do? I think I watched some movies and then watched the ball drop. And then fell asleep.
Do you have a favorite ball drop celebration?
Actually, this time, so we usually do a little bit of celebrating. Our town used to do like a ball drop in the center, but we haven't done that for like a couple years. But this time, we actually, we're now at that age where I don't recognize half of the bands or the singers that are out there when you watch it. Like those shows that are now playing.
Yeah.
And I think it's just my age where I'm like, who is this? I've never heard of this. I don't know the song. I don't know this. So we actually we were watching YouTube and we came across, it was like the Disney World celebration. And it was a DJ playing and he was playing like house music or whatever, but I knew every song. I was like, this is the one. So I listened to like the hour before for the countdown. I was like, I knew every song, so I was happy. So I think I might be turning into that one if I at home on New Year's Eve, because I finally,
That's not a bad celebration.
Yeah. And then I was, asleep shortly after. How about you?
I bopped back and forth. I went over to the Nashville one for a little bit, trying to look for our friend Wayne D. Only to find out he was at home. So it was not a big deal. Then I went over to watched Anderson and Andy for a minute over at CNN just to see how drunk they were.
I was going to ask you if they were sober this time because I missed it. I didn't see them.
No, they were drunk, which is fine.
I think it'd be funny though.
Yeah, I like them better drunk than I do sober.
Yeah, I like Anderson Cooper's laugh. He has a funny giggle.
Yeah. They're much better drunk than sober. So I was glad they were imbibed. Where else did I go? I stopped in at New Year's Rockin' Eve for a minute to see the newer bands, to see who was on. I kind of spin around the dial just to see,
Gotcha.
I'll stop in. I'll just stop in everywhere just to kind of see, and then what annoyed me this year though is the closer you got to midnight,
Yeah.
they take commercial breaks all the way up to midnight.
Yes, I've noticed. Yeah.
So there were like 4 or 5 networks that were on a commercial break like 5 minutes before midnight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that was all about, but stop it already.
Yeah.
I want to build some tension. I don't want to be looking at Cologuard ads.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't want to look at you pooping in a box. I want to look at the ball.
Right.
Or the music note or whatever it is you're dropping at midnight. The only one who was on was Nashville.
Okay.
At 5 minutes to midnight. Everybody else was in an ad.
Did you notice how empty Times Square was?
Yeah, there weren't a lot of people. I mean, not as many as usual.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why that was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because it was cold.
It wasn't as cold as it has been in the past, though.
It was pretty chilly.
Yeah, but it's been worse.
Why do you think it was sparsely attended?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Yeah, but it wasn't as packed as it normally is.
Think people have less income?
Could be. That could be a factor.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Well, revelers time traveled to celebrate New Year's twice, sort of.
Okay.
This is the story on this deal. There's a way to experience the turning of the calendar more than once in a single night with a bit of time zone trickery. Time travel has always been a staple of science fiction for years, but some people have managed to find a way to actually experience it for themselves, albeit with a rather different, or in a rather different sense. Did that make sense? In a rather different sense? Yeah, there we go. The secret lies in the fact that January 1st doesn't start for everyone everywhere in the world at the same time, instead progressively arriving across the globe due to time zone differences, of course. This means that while Sydney is celebrating the New Year, the United States is still several hours away from turning the turning of the calendar. Technically, therefore, if someone happened to see the celebrations in Sydney and then traveled quickly enough in the opposite direction, they could experience New Year's again in a few hours. Of course, it's not really time travel in a literal sense, but they wouldn't be traveling into the past, but it would enable someone to experience the New Year celebrations twice if they really wanted to. Examples of this actually happening can be found in the flight logs for January 1st when, for example, a flight taking off from Tokyo at 1 a.m. on January 1st arrived in Los Angeles at 6 p.m. on the previous day. There was also a flight from Guam that took off at 7:40 a.m. on New Year's Day before touching down in Hawaii at 6:55 p.m. on New Year's Eve, which is kind of a cool thought if you think about it. Sure, it's a lot of trouble to go to simply take advantage of a calendar quirk, but for those with enough time or patience and money, it would certainly make for a unique New Year's experience. I'd like to do that someday if I had enough time and money. That'd be kind of cool. Don't you think?
Oh, it would be, but I mean, you could even do the cheaper thing where, here in the States, just, go over to the next state or the next, you know what I mean, with the time zones. Like here, I would just have to cross over the next state to hit a different time zone.
I think the coolest thing ever would be to if you had the cash, I mean, it'd be a lot of cash, but to celebrate New Year's in Paris and then fly back over on the Concorde and then do it in New York.
Okay. Yeah.
That'd be kind of a cool New Year's.
Be romantic.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of a neat little way to celebrate.
I was just thinking like an hour.
Yeah.
Be like, ooh, it's New Year's Day. Let's drive, 15 minutes across the line. Ooh, it's New Year's Eve. I still have 59 minutes.
You're thinking like a quick jump
like
over.
a really time one. You're right. Yeah. Not like I've got, 15 hours left in the previous year. I'm going for the cheap way.
You're thinking like the quick jump from, I don't know, Arizona to
Yeah, I'm going
California.
from Michigan down to Indiana.
You're thinking that close, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's that too. Yeah.
I like your way, though. The more romantic way.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, scenic and,
Yeah.
Eiffel Tower to Statue of Liberty. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The glamorous route.
Yeah. You're like Michigan to Indiana?
I'm stopping at the Love's
Yeah.
Love's car place.
Maybe we can get one of them Deli Express sandwiches and a Coke.
Yeah, there we go.
Happy New Year.
Top off. Yeah.
Top off the tank.
Maybe a Popeyes is open.
Yeah, you never know. Making an El Cheapo New Year.
There we go.
Right. The next story has to do with the study of a 117-year-old woman who offers clues to extreme human longevity. I know, Mallie, you've stated before on the program you would not like to live to be 117, right?
Nope. No, thank you.
No?
Nah. Unless I'm like perfectly healthy, I have lots of money. Yeah. Then I would be okay if I'm in my own little bubble.
I would dig the 200-year thing if I weren't in pain. Mm-hmm. I would do it.
Right.
Even if I didn't have all the money in the world, I would do it.
Well, I don't need all the money in the world, but I would like to be able to afford food and housing.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's my fear is that, the cost of living nowadays, and you see people retire. Well, they can't retire. So,
right.
You know what I mean? I would like to be able to be okay
right.
and not worry about living on the streets. Then I'll be fine living to 117.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that'd be interesting. One of the oldest people to ever live was found to have possessed an abnormally young genome for her age. Born in 1907, Maria Branjas is an American Croatian who lived for 117 years and 168 days before her death in August of 2024 and was officially one of the oldest humans to ever live. But how is it that some people can live, often without any major health issues or signs of disease, or decades longer than others? To learn more, scientists in Spain have been exploring everything there is to know about Branya's health based on blood, saliva, urine, and stool samples that she provided just prior to her death. That had to be a fun process. Mm-hmm. Just saying. The researchers found that she was in remarkably good health for someone so old, with low levels of bad cholesterol, high levels of good cholesterol, a strong heart, and excellent brain and immune system function. In other words, her cells behaved just like those of someone decades younger. Extreme human lifespan, exemplified by supercentenarians, presented a paradox in understanding aging. Despite advanced age, they maintain relatively good health, the scientists wrote. The picture that emerges from our study, although derived only from this one exceptional individual, shows that extremely advanced age and poor health are not intrinsically linked. That's the biggest no-duh I will read today. Mm-hmm. It is still unclear exactly why Branya's lived so long, while genetics are likely to have been linked and been a major factor. Their Mediterranean diet was also likely to have benefited her as well. So she had a Mediterranean diet. Even then, it seems as though there may have been something a little more to it than that. If the root of her longevity can be found, it may be possible to help others live longer as well. It might also reveal the key to remaining healthier for far longer into old age. I really think if I got to put a percentage to it, it's probably 80% genetic, probably 10% diet, 10% exercise.
Yeah.
I really do believe it's mainly in the genes. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to get you there.
Yeah. I always find it funny when they're like, I'm single, I smoke and I drink and I eat whatever I want. And they're like 120. You're like, well, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do think it's genetic. It's almost
it
always
has to
genetic.
be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I told you I had some top 10 lists from 2025. You know what? We were going to do predictions. I forgot to do that prediction that from the listener. Here I had predictions. I forgot to do the prediction from the listener.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me grab that prediction real quick. By the way, if you have a Parashare for us, it's real easy. 3 different ways of doing it. 1, you can email me directly, tim@darknessradio.com. That's the easiest way to do it. 2, if you go to our website, darknessradioshow.com, there's a blue button on the right-hand side. You can leave us a voice note at tim@darknessradio.com. Or 3, if you have a studio like the one I'm sitting in here right now, you can leave us a video note. Just, jump on your camera, record a video note. You can send it in to tim@darknessradio.com. I'll chop it up, put it on the air right here, and we'll see your lovely face. A video note. I want somebody to send us a video note. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it, Mel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want a video interaction.
Something different.
Yeah. Let's make this a goal, folks. I want to see one of your lovely faces here in 2026. I think that'd be fun. Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to see our audience this year. I mean, otherwise, I'm going to think we have a bunch of elephant men and women out there listening to us. And I don't want to think that. Don't make me think that.
Bunch of AI people.
Yeah, a bunch of AI people. Anyways, Jeff is out there listening to us. And Jeff from Pennsylvania. And he says, hey, Tim and various co-hosts. No, it's just Mallie today. I wanted to give you my predictions for 2026, but first wanted to recap what I predicted for 2025. Here's the argument with that, Jeff. Again, how do I know that you actually predicted this in 2025? You just didn't make up your 2025 predictions on the spot.
Oh, true.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Have to take him for his word.
That's right. He would argue, he says he went 2 for 5. Okay. Now, I could make up 2025 predictions right now and argue I went 5 for 5. Mm-hmm. But that's just me being an a-hole right now. He says, my first 2025 prediction was that there would be drama surrounding the NFL draft. And I think I may have gotten this one right. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders was predicted to go in the first round, but then very unexpectedly fell to the 5th round, leaving the experts scratching their heads. Would you call that drama, Tim? Yeah, I guess so. That's grown men's drama, sure. But yeah,
right.
That's drama. Yeah, I'll give that one to you. My second 2025 prediction was that there would be a run of cryptid sightings concentrated in a particular area of the U.S. As far as I know, this didn't happen. So I struck out on that one. Yeah, you did. Yeah, I'll give you a strikeout on that one. Speaking of striking out, I predicted the Baltimore Orioles would be the World Series champion, and well, they didn't even make the playoffs. So swing and a miss there, too. Yes, indeed. Big swing and a miss. My fourth was that a billionaire was going to face a scandal that would severely tarnish a reputation and legacy. Now, admittedly, I don't know the trial timeline or major details, but I don't think he was a billionaire. But with P. Diddy being convicted and sentenced on prostitution charges, I'm giving myself half credit for that prediction. I wouldn't give you half. Sorry. P. Diddy was never a billionaire. Mm-hmm. Never even came close. Millions, yes.
Right.
Billions, no. And he formed Bad Boy Records. How did that tarnish his reputation? He lived the gimmick, my friend. That's what we call it in the wrestling business, living the gimmick. So no, you don't get any credit. 1 out of 5. Now on to your 2026 predictions. A world leader will disclose non-human intelligence. I'm not specifying which world leader, but one of them will. I'm also not specifying that the NHI is extraterrestrial. It could be interdimensional or perhaps another intelligent race that's been living in the shadows among us for millennia. I don't know if I understand this, Jeff. A world leader will disclose non-human intelligence. Such as? Maybe.
Non-human intelligence, isn't that just artificial intelligence?
I don't know. Again, like such as what? Right? Because extraterrestrial intelligence is one thing, but what's non-human intelligence? AI is non-human intelligence, and we already know about it.
Right.
So I guess I need you to expound. Number 2, there will finally be an investigation into the NFL fixing games. Yeah, I hope so. With the spotlight on the NBA scandal currently for illegal gambling and game fixing, I believe the NFL is next. I think you're right on that one. Especially the Vikings and Wiregate. And what happened this past Sunday with the Vikings. Did you see that?
I watched part of it, but I don't know what you're referring to.
Okay, so at the end of the game, it was very, very weird. First of all, okay, so part of it's explainable, part of it's not. Part of it's, the reason I say part of it's explainable is fans are going nuts for 2 reasons. CBS miscounted the amount of downs that the Packers had at the end of the game. They had listed that it was 4th and goal and that the Packers lined up and went for it on 4th down when it was 3rd down.
Oh, okay.
And then they lined up for an extra down and and kicked a field goal at the end of the game. It was 16-0 at the time. They lined up, kicked a field goal to make it 16-3. Vegas had the line of the Vikings winning by 13.5. Winning the game by 13.5. A Packer field goal gets them inside the line so that Vegas wins. And plus, they don't get shut out. The last time the Packers have been shut out was in the early 2000s. So, Matt LaFleur, of course, the coach of the Packers, says, well, we don't want to get shut out, so we're going to kick the field goal. All right? And that's the reasoning for kicking the field goal. We don't want to get shut out, even though we played our 3rd stringers, against your 1st stringers. Well, we don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to get shut out. A lot of people think they did it because they didn't want Vegas to lose. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Mallie? I almost called you Jess. Why did I almost call you?
That's okay. I am the wrong person to ask because I don't really follow football.
I'm just saying from a conspiracy setting. Do you think that the NFL would fix that? Do you think that the referee gets a little thing in his earpiece and says,
lately, yes, because what they've been doing to the Lions, yes. Because I think that the Lions have had some bad calls.
I think the Lions season is suspect.
Yep.
How do the Lions fall apart?
Yeah. I think that there's something going on with, I think there's something going on.
The Lions look like a house of fire, and all of a sudden now, believe it or not, last place in the NFC North.
Yeah. I think there's something going on. I think there's kickbacks or something. There's something going on.
There's something not right there. That's for sure. Number 3, I'm predicting the Pennhurst data center plans will be dropped, and Pennhurst will be officially added to the National Register of Historical Places, protecting it for years to come.
That would be nice.
It's a nice thought.
Probably won't happen, but that would be nice.
Probably won't happen. I'll tell you what, I would add to that prediction. I'd change it a little bit for you. I think you're onto something there, Jeff, but I think I would say someone will step in to try and make those plans happen. Someone higher profile will step in
to save it, or
to try and save it.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah, but someone of a higher profile will step in to try and put it on the National Register of Historical Places, but will fail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So you don't see it being saved at all?
No.
You see it going straight to the data center?
No. data centers are too popular right now.
Right.
And in this administration, AI is winning.
Yeah.
It is.
I know someone that lost their job to AI.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Yep. They work for a phone service provider. They lost their job.
I can believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I can believe it. Jeff says here, number 4, speaking of, he says the AI bubble will finally burst. I think that's a little premature.
Yeah.
I believe people will finally have had enough of the generative AI, and we will see interest in it fall. It was fun at first watching those Bigfoot AI videos and making silly pictures, but for a lot of us, I feel the novelty of it has worn off. And with the backlash that companies face when using it in the professional business world, like Coca-Cola ads, people are ready for the next big thing. Unfortunately, it isn't just about pictures.
Mm-hmm.
It's about automation. It's about making life easier. And there's a whole new way of using it in industry that we're just scratching the surface. And that's the part, Jeff, that we haven't even got into yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, this is the part that's scary, is 10 to 20% of the workforce is supposed to be wiped out within the next 5 years. Just due to AI.
Mm-hmm.
That's saying a lot. I mean, that's 10 to 20% of the workforce eliminated to a machine. I know a lot of people say, well, that's impossible. But in my business, roughly 50% was wiped out due to automation in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it never came back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was simple. It was real easy to do. And from there, it was like, well, how do we figure out how to become more useful? You know, as humans, how do you figure out how to come back and be more useful? And then the Wild West of podcasting came about. And then audiences changed and they wanted more specialized programming. What happened is radio became homogenized. And then people wanted, their taste changed. They wanted more variety. And the market changes. What will happen is AI can't think for itself. And there are going to be specialized markets that people will need to fall into and be able to have to do. So jobs will change. People will have to change with it.
Mm-hmm.
But AI is here to stay. I don't think it's going anywhere. Lastly, I predict that our very own Timmy D will get another opportunity to show his big, beautiful bald head and face on TV for us once more. God, I hope you're right.
That's nice.
That's a nice thought, Jeff. I appreciate that. Perhaps another season of Paranormal Night Shift, or perhaps KNSI will launch a mini docu-series on local access cable called Chipmunks and the Podcasters Who Feed Them. Boy, I got to get Spud on a treadmill if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
She chunked up big time before.
Woo! I need to get on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Holidays have been harsh on my pants.
Yeah, well, you know what? I gained 3 pounds over the holidays.
Ooh, yeah. I gained 10.
Either way, I'm expecting to see Tim's face plastered all over, or all across my 65 inches of TV. Hope you enjoy. Looking forward to another year of great shows. Well, thanks, Jeff. We appreciate that. Jeff from Pennsylvania.
That was sweet.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you, Jeff. Well, I'm hoping there's some exciting stuff here in 2026. I can't say any more, but just hoping for some exciting stuff in 2026. We'll keep you updated as things progress.
I'm imagining your face across 65 inches on the TV. Boom!
I'm just glad that I'm just glad I've lost some pounds now.
You have a clear complexion.
Yeah, well, I had a little bit of, I should have explained to people who are watching on video, I had a bit of an allergic reaction. So I'm breaking out. I have like flaky skin right now and skin flaking off of me and red eyes. And I look horrible right now. I do look reptilian right now. I had an allergic reaction to a medication. So I look like hell right now. You don't want to see me on a video screen right now. You do not want eyes on me across 65 inches of screen right now. You might throw your TV out the window. But yeah, but that's a nice thought. But you know, okay, we got top 10 lists, and then we're getting closer to the end of the show here. Unexplained Mysteries has these top 10 lists for 2025 and top 10 stories of the year. These are the top 10 conspiracy stories of 2025. Number 10, bizarre conspiracy theory suggests that the Titanic didn't actually sink. Conspiracy theorists have perpetuated rumors in recent years that rewrites the events of the Titanic disaster. Number 9 was the secretive U.S. Rat 55 plane spotted landing at Area 51 in Nevada. The enigmatic plane is thought to have been used to evaluate the stealth profiles of other aircraft in midair. Number 8, earthquake reported near secretive Air 51 base in Nevada. The mysterious facility was rocked by reports of an earthquake centered a few miles away from the base. Number 7, newly published archive details CIA's MK Ultra mind control program. For 2 decades, the CIA conducted secretive experiments into mind control and psychological manipulation. Number 6, Jerry Freeman, the man who snuck into Area 51 and lived to tell the tale. Back in 1996, Freeman had ventured within the perimeter of the top secret base at Groom Lake, Nevada. Number 5, 3 disturbing visits from the real Men in Black. For years, UFO experiencers and researchers have been plagued by visits from shadowy figures dressed in black. Number 4, U.S. Air Force's Janet Fleet planes make an unexpected trip to Area 51. The planes were typically used to transport personnel to and from secure and secretive locations within the U.S. I remember that story, too. That was an interesting story. Number 3, chemtrails crackdown. 8 U.S. states moved to ban illicit sky spraying. I think we've talked about chemtrails before, haven't we, Mallie?
Yes.
Do you believe in them?
Not really. A lot of my friends do.
See,
they're probably going to hate me.
I still think they're contrails. I don't think they're chemtrails. The recent move to ban chemtrails in Tennessee and Florida has now been prompted in similar legislation in other states. Number 2 were classes for gifted kids in the 80s and 90s, part of a secret CIA program. One of our friends here in the paranormal has been posting a couple of TikTok videos about this, and I want to get her on the show.
Okay.
Because I started watching her videos.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had a similar experience.
Okay.
The conspiracy theory started to circulate online regarding education classes for gifted children. I got pulled into a similar class when I was young.
Okay.
And it's an interesting story. Ominous black tower structure spotted at Area 51 on Google Earth. An eagle-eyed anomaly hunter has discovered a curious tower-like structure at the secretive Area 51 base in Nevada. That's the number 1 story. So these classes that I was telling you about, this conspiracy theory is, I'll just go into it just briefly. It's called the GATE program. GATE, the GATE program.
Mm-hmm.
And so essentially it's called Gifted and Talented Education Program. It was during the 80s and 90s mainly that kids would be pulled out of class or they either pulled out of class or they get a note sent home saying that your child is doing incredibly well in school. However, they may not necessarily pay attention all the time, or they'd have like a disparaging mark on their report card and say, we felt that they might need a little more attention here, so we're going to put them in this particular gifted class, or we might have to put them in this particular class, and then they would get extra monitoring. Okay. And so it would be like a more advanced curriculum designed to nurture creative learning, critical thinking skills. And what they would do is they'd give you tests, and they'd line up certain tests for you to do. And as I'm watching these videos, I'm recognizing some of these tests.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, wait a minute, I remember doing these tests. And it was like, you remember have you ever taken any of these tests like online where it tells you to line up the shapes? So it's like, there's this shape, guess the third shape.
I know what you're talking about. I haven't taken them, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember doing these tests when I was younger. And it's almost like the same sort of stuff you get on IQ tests.
Right, the Mensa stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember doing those when I was, 7, 8, 9 years old. And so the story that I'm looking at right here says one woman who has recently gained a following on social media thanks to her posts on the subject showed images of her workbooks from the time, demonstrating that she had been asked to engage in a number of surprising activities ranging from cracking codes to learning Russian. Now, they didn't go that far with us.
Right.
We weren't cracking any codes, but there were workbooks that you would, they'd have you almost doing like IQ tests. It was just, It was weird. Someone suggested that the GATE program had actually been part of a secretive CIA program known as Gateway, which aimed to delve into the limitations of human consciousness using various techniques ranging from sound patterns to meditation. One declassified CIA document pertaining to the program described the use of nonverbal audio patterns masked by sounds of crashing waves or wind noises. Some of the former GATE students recalled being exposed to similar recordings at the same time. Some of the tests were basic IQ tests, but many of them were of the meditation type testing where we had to listen to a woman's voice on an audio tape with big earphones. And I remember doing that. And when I started to read this story, I was like, wait a minute, was I in one of these programs? And it said they were facilitated by people who did not work at our school. And I never remembered these people being regular teachers. I remembered them being like helpers or whatever. Yeah. Some former students have even been able to provide examples of some of the audio recordings, which often started with a series of strange high-pitched tones. This is the first step along your path to a gateway, a man's voice says in one recording. The gateway beyond which is discovery, your own discovery of reality, of truth, and who you and what you really are, is how the recording starts out. But could it be evidence that the CIA was really carrying out secretive research on school kids, or were these actually a little more than just innocuous learning exercises? So, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if anybody in our audience ever had this before, but if you have, I want you to email me, tim@darknessradio.com. If you ever had these classes, these GATE classes or gateway classes, if you were educated in the 80s or 90s, and you were in elementary school at that time, if you remember anything like this, it's fascinating stuff. It freaked me out when I started seeing the TikTok videos. I was like, I remember those classes. And then I thought, oh my God, wait a minute. Was I part of a CIA experiment? Or is this just common in the education system? And is this something we're all freaking out about for no reason? Right? Because you know how a kid's imagination can be a little overactive.
Right.
And I'm thinking maybe it's just an overactive imagination. Okay.
Yeah.
Unexplained Mysteries also has the top 10 bizarre stories for 2025. And number 10 is that mermaid is attacked by a giant fish in a bizarre viral video. A woman dressed as a mermaid was performing at an aquarium when a large fish is almost swallowed up by her head. I know it sounds confusing, but yeah. A Minnesota man at number 9 murders his neighbor who he thought was an alien. Do you remember this story?
No, I don't.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Yeah. A bizarre murder case saw a 38-year-old man shoot and kill his neighbor while believing her to be an extraterrestrial. But I hear they brought over a hot dish afterwards, so it all was forgiven.
Yeah. A funeral casserole?
Yeah, funeral casserole. So it was all good. Number 8, nonsensically narrow world's thinnest car was unveiled in Italy. I remember this one.
Yep, I remember seeing that.
Yep, the ridiculously thin Fiat Panda actually functions as a working car despite being a mere 50 centimeters in width. Number 7, 5 incredibly weird things photographed by police. Criminals aren't the only thing police officers capture on camera. Sometimes they run into things that are downright bizarre. Number 6, police investigate visit by mysterious box demon in Pennsylvania. I do remember this one. A strange individual identifying herself as a box demon showed up at a house in northern York County recently. Number 5, the real-life James Bond was jailed for 60 days for telling police his name. You remember that story?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Possessing the name James Bond can have unforeseen consequences, as one unfortunate man found out. I remember the story. I think I read it on True Crime Tuesday. The man identified himself as James Bond, and the cop thought he was playing a prank.
Being a smartass.
Yeah, so he arrested him. Number 4, rare new footage emerges of the world's tallest ever man. The previously unreleased footage shows Robert Wadlow, officially the tallest man ever recorded. Number 3, giant creepy alien face discovered in Antarctica on Google Earth. A satellite image covering part of the desolate Antarctic wastes shows a feature that looks deceptively like a face. Number 2, alien shows up on a doorbell camera in Compton, California. Something was lurking outside in the darkness after midnight, and nobody is quite sure who or what it was. And number 1, a man is in critical condition after eating a whole burger without chewing. This was just recently. The latest candidate for the Darwin Awards decided to swallow the burger in its entirety for a joke. If I remember right, I think this guy lived through it. I don't think
he's lucky if he did.
Yeah, I don't think he expired. Let me see here. He was on a ventilator at one point. Yeah, he's home now, I believe. Yeah, he is. So those are your top 10 stories, or weird stories for 2025. So yeah, I love these top 10 lists for the year. They're quite bizarre. All right, we're coming to the end of the program here, and we got one more story here before we check out today. And again, I mentioned that ancient Egypt had a party boat discovered in the waters of Alexandria. That's right. Even King Tut liked to get down and party every once in a while. The remains of an ancient boat there was no Minnesota Vikings, by the way, on this party boat. I want to mention that. The remains of an ancient boat have yielded clues as to what might have happened on it thousands of years ago. Damian Robinson and Frank Gaudio are the two researchers who report in on this. They say beneath the shifting waters of Alexandria's eastern harbor on Egypt's Mediterranean coast lie the drowned remnants of a once splendid city, ports, palaces, and temples swallowed by the sea, submerged by earthquakes and rising sea level. These lost monuments have become the focus of surveys and excavations by the European Institute for Underwater Archaeology in conjunction with Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. Much of our recent work, they say, has centered around, what is this? Antirodos Island, revealing a temple to the ancient Egyptian goddess Isis, which was renovated by Cleopatra the Seventh. There was more than one?
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And the Timonium, a palace built by her partner, the Roman general Mark Antony. The shipwrecks from the royal port of Antirodos tells the story of how Alexandria changed from a palace emphasizing the great wealth and extravagance of the Ptolemaic dynasty to an economic powerhouse of the Roman world. They say our most recent excavations have revealed a shipwreck dating to the early Roman period. Buried beneath the sand were the remains of a thalamagos, a type of Nile yacht with a very colorful reputation in Roman literature as party boats. But the discovery of such a vessel in a busy commercial harbor was unusual. We asked ourselves, were we thinking about this wreck in the right way? Is there a wrong way to think about a party boat in Egypt? That's my question. The wrecks in the Royal Port were discovered through a new high-resolution sonar survey of the seabed. This produced enormous quantities of data that was fed into a machine learning algorithm trained to recognize the signatures of shipwrecks. The initial results were promising, with excavations on target generated by the algorithm revealing a small boat and 30-meter-long merchant ship, together with a similar merchant ship found in the early years of the project. These finds illustrate the commercialization of the royal port in the Roman period. At the outset of the 2025 mission, they were confident that the wreck was a merchant ship, but with each dive, new findings reshaped their understanding, gradually revealing a vessel unlike the one that they thought they were investigating. The wreck had many typical features of Roman imperial shipbuilding, but the Greek graffiti carved into its planks suggested that it was built and repaired in Alexandria, and its shape is unlike the cargo vessels found elsewhere in the royal port. It's around 28 meters long and 7 meters wide. The preserved remains indicated that they were working on a flat-bottom boat. That's a Queen song, right? It's another Queen joke. With a relatively wide and boxy hull. The bow and stern were asymmetrical, giving sweeping curves to the extremities of the ship, but it lacked a mast step, suggesting that it was rowed. The wreck did not have the ideal shape or propulsion system of a seagoing freighter, making it something of a mystery. In search of clues, they turned to the 500 or so fragments of the Ptolemaic and Roman papyri, the material made from the pithy stem of a water plant that these civilizations used to write on. That document nautical subjects. About 200 of these named different types of river vessels, which often referred by the cargoes that they carried, from grain, wine, and stone to manure and corpses. Ooh, a party boat with corpses on it. That's fun.
Sounds smelly.
Yeah. One of the infrequently mentioned types of boats is the thalamagos or cabin boat. That kind of vessel is depicted on the Palestrina mosaic, which is a roughly contemporary landscape with the boat found in a temple outside of Rome. With its crescent shape and series of oars, the mosaic ship bears a striking similarity to the material remains from the royal port. While investigations into the wreck are just beginning, it seems they have found a thalamagos, one of the infamous party boats of the Nile. Party on, Wayne. So what happened on ancient party boats, you may ask? Well, the example of the Palestrina mosaic depicts a cabin boat being used to hunt hippopotami, which is a ritual associated with the pharaohs of ancient Egypt. The link between this type of boat and royalty is heard in the philosopher Seneca's dismissal of them as the playthings of kings. That sounds like a slogan that I really shouldn't get into. Well, the Ptolemaic royal family did have Nile yachts and even supersized versions of them. We can assume that vessels the size of ours would have been a common sight on the river. Indeed, the ancient geographer Strabo wrote about Alexandrians holding feasts aboard cabin boats in shady spots upon the waterways around the city. He described them as part of the revelry and licentious behavior, tough word for me, associated with the public festivals at the nearby town of Canopus. These Roman authors, however, were likely playing up the culture of luxury and excess of their recently defeated enemy courts and the degenerate lifestyles of its people. To simply think about the Thalamagos purely as a party boat would be to cherry pick away racy Roman stories and the fall of their propaganda. The mundane detail of the administrative papyri reveals that Thalamagoi were more than luxurious yachts. They could also carry cargo and were used to transport officials up and down the river. Consequently, the discovery of a cabin boat in a bustling commercial port is not entirely unexpected. There's also one other possibility, that the boat was found close to the temple of Isis and may have been destroyed in the same seismic event that caused the collapse of the sanctuary. They ask, was it a luxurious temple barge used during festivals such as a celebration of the navigation of Isis? They say this celebrated the opening of the sea following the winter season. And it was one of the festivals that got Strabo so worked up about the behavior of its participants. It was actually a festival to ensure the protection of the grain fleet upon which Rome relied to feed its hungry urban population. Strabo chose to overemphasize aspects of the event to suit the anti-Ptolemaic prejudices of his Roman audiences. Detailed post-excavation analysis of this wreck is now underway. They want to understand exactly what the ship looked like and how it performed on the Nile. There's also more work to be done in this library with the ancient texts. What's for sure is that they're only just getting started to know the secrets of this Thalamagos. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff that they're finding there. All right. So that's it for news today. We have one palate cleanser here, Mallie. And again, I said it's not safe for work. So we're going to give you 5 seconds here to get your kids out of the room. Or your boss is out of the room, especially if you're at work. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I told you it involved an eel, right? And I told you it was a bit naughty. What would you do that would involve an eel that's naughty? Well, a man almost died after an eel ate through his bowel wall.
Ugh.
And a sex act gone wrong.
Oh, God. Does this require a trip to the emergency room?
Yes, thank you, Mallie.
Those poor doctors.
Now we're starting to paste things together here. On yesterday's Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals, we published the annual list of things people stuffed in their orifices. That's our yearly list that we do. Jess and I went through the entire list together, so I figured I'd continue this list with one story. This 31-year-old man needed emergency surgery after it was revealed that he had slipped a 2-foot live eel inside himself.
That's just freaking gross. It's so slimy. Just the eel itself. I mean, first of all, sticking something up there, but to each their own. But for it to be an eel.
Hercules.
Just nasty.
I just love your reactions. But then surgeons came across another actually bizarre problem. Did
it lay eggs? Wait, do eels lay eggs? Please don't tell. Am I guessing correctly? Or am I completely wrong?
I love the level of anxiety you get. I'm not even there yet.
I'm like already guessing the word. Sorry. Continue.
Hospital workers have seen all manner of unusual medical emergencies, but one case will certainly have stuck in the minds of surgeons at the Viet Duc Hospital in Hanoi.
Okay.
So, it didn't happen here.
Mm-hmm.
A 31-year-old man was admitted to the facility complaining of very severe abdominal pain, and the reason for his discomfort, Mallie, was bizarre. He had slipped a 2-foot eel up his anus earlier that day for stimulation. He certainly didn't do it because he slipped and fell. Mm-hmm. The patient was immediately taken for examination and underwent a number of tests, including an ultrasound and then an x-ray. Terrifyingly, imaging showed the eel's skeleton lying inside his abdominal cavity. So it had expired.
Oh, God, that's just...
So when somebody says it crawled up your ass and died, it literally crawled up your ass and died.
That's when I put down my scalpel. I'm like, I'm out. Sorry, done.
Done.
I'm done. You're on your own. I wash my hands. Out.
Literally wash your hands and you're out.
Yep. I can't deal. Nope. Don't deal with snakes and eels. Nope. Doesn't have legs and it wiggles. I'm out. Done.
A team of endoscopy experts and anesthesiologists were quickly assembled to remove the eel, but they came across another problem. Are you braced?
And butts clenched. Go.
When they tried to reach the eel through the anus, they found it blocked because they had inserted a large lemon after the fish, making access impossible.
Oh, my God.
Because, Mallie, what goes better when you're at Red Lobster than a little lemon with your fish?
Jesus Christ.
Right? The expert team therefore opted for emergency surgery to remove the eel. On opening the man up, they found the live eel approximately 65 centimeters long and 10 centimeters in circumference. This according to the Hindustan Times. Are you ready for this, Mallie?
I am so disgusted right now, but go ahead.
It gets worse. The eel had bitten through the patient's rectum and colon to escape into the abdominal cavity.
Oh, my God.
It was still alive and kicking, like Simple Minds would say, alive and kicking. This according to Lee Nat Hui, Vice Director of the Department of Colorectal and Perineal Surgery at the hospital. Medica, yes, they cover you over there in Hanoi, managed to remove both the eel and the lemon because you need a garnish with your eel. Mm-hmm. The man was further examined to ensure that there were no other foreign objects hidden in his body because you probably would have needed a side, and then stitched him back up. It comes after doctors at Sawai Mansingh Hospital in Jaipur, India, made an extraordinary discovery when a man was admitted to a hospital complaining of a severe stomachache. The 34-year-old was rushed by his worried relatives after being in so much pain that he was struggling to eat or drink. Staff conducted a scan and were astonished to see that the man had a watch stuck in his esophagus, along with iron fragments, nuts, and bolts trapped in his large intestine. Doctors were ultimately forced to perform a 3-hour operation to get everything out. The objects, including the watch, were removed through a small incision in his abdomen. And a woman was previously discovered to have a fountain pen wedged inside her stomach. The 4-inch object was detected after medical experts carried out an x-ray on 20-year-old Xing Fang at a hospital in Taipei, Taiwan. The patient had been in pain for 6 months and was no longer able to eat properly or concentrate on her studies. The pen was discovered after an endoscopy was carried out, inserting a camera through her mouth and into her stomach. While the utensil was badly eroded by stomach acid, it was identified by a fountain pen, or as a fountain pen rather, and she was operated on immediately. Doctors have since concluded that the object remained in her if it would have remained in her any longer, it could have led to peritonitis or even death.
Wow.
So the moral of the story here, Mallie,
Don't shove things up your ass.
or in your mouth that don't belong there. If it ain't food, keep it out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is food, think twice.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's an eel,
Oh, God.
it goes in the entry, not the exit.
Yeah.
And definitely don't chase it with a lemon. Let's think twice here, kids.
Yeah.
Let's think twice.
There's safer objects to be putting up there than critters. Well, you got your little shops that sell things.
Yeah, you do. You're darn right. You're darn tootin'.
God, freaking eel. Oh, God.
An eel. That's right. All right. With that concludes our program today. What's anything new and exciting on your end? Not in your end, but on your end.
In my end. I'll be watching something to get my mind off of stuff going in people's ends. Gosh, good God. Ugh. Jeez. Well, I don't know now because I'm totally disturbed. I am speechless right now. I can't even think. Okay, it takes a lot to get me disturbed because I've got a freaky mind, but geez Louise, that one, I was not, All right. Wow. Okay. Back to normal. Yo, don't even show me pictures. Ugh. That's worse than tapeworms. Good God. Month of January, I think I'm going to try and get my life back in order after the holidays and let stuff off my mind. So, yeah, I can't think straight. I am at a loss for words.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Right.
But let's just get back into the paranormal that the holidays are over with now.
Yeah. I agree.
So, yeah. How about you?
Well, I know I ain't going fishing.
Yeah. Ugh. God, just anyway.
Well, I know this much. Tomorrow on the big program, we continue the 20th anniversary month by heading back to the beginning. We're continuing a theme tomorrow, and we're emulating the second week of 2006.
Nice.
Tomorrow on the program, it is as it was, the second week of 2006. John Zaffis is with us tomorrow.
Nice. I love him.
Yeah. The Godfather of the Paranormal will be with us. And we'll do a little comparing and contrasting.
Okay.
So we'll talk about the difference 20 years ago from now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll bring up, you know what, I'll ask him a few questions about Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Okay.
And we'll ask him about what he would think Ed and Lorraine would think about everything that's happened from then to now.
Mm-hmm.
And everything with the Conjuring universe and the sale of their home and museum.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll ask about his career.
Okay.
And how his career has gone in the last 20 years. And being on TV and everything that's happened in the last 20 years and get his thoughts. We'll catch up with John tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Touch base with the Godfather of the Paranormal tomorrow, right here on the program. So, yeah.
I love him.
Yeah. So, very interesting perspective show tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, kind of an interesting look back tomorrow. I kind of, one of the things I want to, I'll leave it a surprise for tomorrow.
Okay.
For with John, because there's a lot of memory lane stuff tomorrow too.
Mm-hmm. I hope everyone has the chance. I mean, I know he doesn't do it as much anymore, but everyone has the chance to have the opportunity to investigate with him because he's totally old school. You know what I mean? He's one of the OGs.
Yeah.
So the opportunity to go to basics and to see how it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite the experience.
Yeah. And the thing that I think a lot of people need to realize is that I know I'm taking my sweet time. I won't take much more time with this. Is this. As the years roll by here, and they're rolling by very quickly.
Yes.
Each year we seem to be losing more and more people in this field. And not that there's anything wrong with John. There's nothing wrong with John.
No, not at all.
But we seem to have lost a lot of key people in the paranormal over the last 10 years or so. Take the time right now to appreciate who we have. When you see John out at an event, when you see whoever it is you want to go investigate with at a certain event, or go meet, take the opportunity to go meet them because you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or go investigate with them because you just don't know. Don't be one of those people that says, I wish I could have, right? Go out and make the leap, make the jump, go do it. And don't hesitate. Because at this 20-year anniversary, as I've been going through the archives, and man, Mallie, I've just been tallying up the amount of people that aren't with us anymore.
Oh,
that I wish I could have booked for this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I would have loved to have put on this year. There's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of people I would have loved to have brought back this year. You know, next week, the guest, had she been with us, would have been Rosemary Ellen Guiley.
I thought you were going to say that because I thought if her women start talking about Zaphis.
Yeah. And man, what a guest she would have been.
Mm-hmm.
But to not have that voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just that voice is I mean, that's a huge hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Father Andy Calder, there's another voice.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Hasn't been around for so long. And
yeah,
that voice I was reminded of when we had Katrina Weidman on last week.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so many.
He was so nice. Yeah.
So many voices, so many important voices from those early days of our existence that were pertinent, that were important, that were authoritative, that helped shape the program. That I just wish we could bring back one more time. You know, but you know, with that, we will have eventually new voices that we can bring on, and we'll have returning voices that we can bring on. That have important things to say, that have new things to say, that have interesting things to say, that I think you guys will enjoy. We have an old friend coming on next week that I know you guys love, that you're going to enjoy. And it's going to be a great year. We have a lot of great stuff lined up. I think you guys are really going to love this year especially. But it's just and again, I won't belabor the point much longer, but I'll just end it with this. That, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, this year is going to be one of those years, this 20th year, is going to be one where we're not going to spend a whole lot of time looking back, but we are going to allude to the past while we keep our feet firmly planted in the future. You know, there'll be times where I might pull out a gem and remind you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how I'd like to spend this 20th year. Because it is an important anniversary, but at the same time, I don't want to spend the entire time looking back, because we've spent the last 4 years bringing you the spirit of the show, reminding you of how good this family we have is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And bringing you the genuine feel of this family. So we don't need to keep reminding you with clips. You get it every time we're on the air. You keep getting the original feel, and we're bringing you the best guests we have, right? We're giving you the best that's out there. So, you know, you're getting the best. But every once in a while, I might pull a little something. Maybe I'll pull a little something back and bring it forward.
Mm-hmm.
I might do that from time to time. Maybe on Supernatural News, I might bring back a flashback or something. I thought about that the other day.
Uh-oh.
I thought about one of your quotes the other day, which
boy. Well, we've been together since what, 2009?
Yeah. So anyways, not to belabor any points, but yes, tomorrow John Zaffis on the program, as he was in the second week of 2006. So, yeah. So we'll walk down memory lane.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that'll do it for today. I want to thank you folks again for joining us here on the big program. And thank you again for being with us. Maybe you've been with us for 20 years. Maybe it's been 15. Maybe it's been 10. Maybe you just started with us. But either way, thank you so much for continuing to listen or watch us on YouTube. If you're watching us, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening to us, be sure to review us, rate and review us, and give us a 5-star review if you love us. Again, if you have the Apple app, be sure to update your Apple app. And be right back here tomorrow for John Zaffis. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for continuing to watch and listen to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.